Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about the movies that I saw in April, so it's going to be kind of like a film wrap-up. These are like the movies that I kind of just I thought about making full reviews for, but I just didn't really feel like doing it. Kind of because I didn't have a ton to say about them. Not because like they're all really bad or anything, just because I couldn't really feel like I could justify making a whole video about each of them. The only one that I did make a whole review for this month was The Grand Budapest Hotel, which is one of my new favorite movies, definitely my new favorite Wes Anderson movie. And you should definitely go watch that video if you are interested in seeing that movie, or interested in hearing my thoughts on it. I'll put a link to it in the description. I'll start off with Divergent. I saw this at the beginning of the month. I didn't see it in theaters, I watched it online, sorry. I couldn't use my money to go out and see a film that I honestly didn't necessarily want to see all that badly. I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt though as I was watching it, but it definitely fell very, very flat for me. I'm gonna do the thing where you kind of like say something positive and then give the criticisms. So my something positive. I was really surprised at the cinematography. I thought the cinematography was really nice. There was a lot of really great images going on in that movie, and the overall like set design and costume design and art direction and stuff like that really worked well with the cinematography. It all worked really well together in that sense, which was really nice, really surprising. I wasn't expecting that. Overall, I also think they did a fairly good job with the casting. If you've heard me talk about Divergent and all, then you know that I don't really like Triss as a character, but I do think Shailene Woodley did a good job playing her, and I actually liked the Triss in the movie better than I liked Triss in the book. Probably because I didn't have to constantly hear her stupid thoughts all the time. Theo James, I think, did a pretty good job as Four, and I liked a lot of the other characters as they were cast as well. The guy who played Eric was really good. I mean, like, none of these people were like groundbreaking in these roles or anything, but they all definitely played their characters really well for what they had to work with, and what they had to work with was not very good in my opinion. I thought the writing was just really bad. It had all of the same problems that the book had, and the book has a lot of problems. I've said before I did not like dislike the book a lot or anything. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really entertaining, and the movie was pretty entertaining, but neither of them are all that good. And overall, I thought the movie just focused way too much on the wrong things, especially the advertising for the movie focused on the wrong things. I don't believe that the movie or the book have anything interesting to say about any of the themes it brings up. I don't really find any of the characters to be very interesting, and overall the general idea of the story is not very interesting to me. And overall the movie was just way too long. It was like over 2 hours long, and that was unnecessary. If I'm being honest though, is it a good movie adaptation of the book? I thought so. I thought it was a good like adaptation of a book. I thought it really captured the book fairly well. As far as movie adaptations go, I thought it was pretty true to the book. And just like I said, all of the problems the movie had are the same problems that the book had. So next is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I really like this movie a lot. I don't really remember having that many like substantial thoughts about the first Captain America movie. I thought it might have just been I did like most of that movie, I think. I didn't really find it to be all that interesting towards the end. I don't really remember exactly why, but it was just kind of like an eh. This one I thought was a lot better, a lot more interesting. I really loved all of the elements they brought into it. I want to make sure you keep in mind that everything I say is coming from the perspective of someone who has not read any of the comics whatsoever. I find superhero movies to be really interesting though. I really have always loved watching them. I just have never been able to get into comics that much. But I really liked this movie. I really liked the new characters they introduced, and the old character. Samuel L. Jackson is just such an awesome Nick Fury. I loved his character so much. I always have. Chris Evans plays an awesome Captain America, especially in this movie. I thought he really just did a really great job playing that character. I think he really captured Steve Rogers' personality and his like goals and his beliefs and just everything about him really well. Like when you compare this character to the other superhero that Chris Evans has played, the Human Torch, there's just a really big difference there, and you can tell that he does a really good job of capturing Steve Rogers, and he does a really great job acting in this, just like he did in the first movie and in the Avengers. I really love the introduction of the Winter Soldier character and to Hydra. I just thought it was really entertaining, and it was really fun to watch. I wasn't bored like at all during it. The new Falcon character was really cool. I really liked that guy. And of course Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson's character, was freaking awesome as well. I really hope that they make a like Black Widow movie at some point, because she just does a really great job at playing that character. This has been probably one of my favorite movies in this Marvel universe so far. The Iron Man movies are definitely like my favorites. I honestly find the Thor movies to be kind of boring, especially the first one. The second one was a lot better than Thor, the first one. Those movies, both of them were just kind of eh for me. And I know people are going to hate me for this, but I find Loki to be one of the most boring villains ever. Not saying anything about Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston is awesome, but for the first Thor movie and the Avengers movie, Loki's character, I wasn't really that interested in him most of the time. Like I said though, the second Thor movie was a lot better, and I did really like Loki in that movie. I'm really excited for the second Avengers movie to see what happens with all of them, because I really do like this universe that Marvel is building. So like I said, I just think this movie is a really solid entry in that. The next movie is Muppets Most Wanted, the sequel to the first Muppets movie that came out a couple years ago. Well, not the first Muppets movie, the first remake, you know what I mean. I really loved that first remake movie. I thought it was so good. I loved that so much. And this one I thought was really good as well. Definitely a lot different. It focuses on the Muppets way more, and I thought that was really fun. I loved the frog Muppet Constantine. He was like the kind of villain, and Ricky Gervais is also a villain. I love Ricky Gervais, and he was great in this, and Tina Fey was in this, and it was really great as well. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was really good, and I just really enjoyed it a lot. I really enjoy movies like this. And if you get the chance, even if you aren't that interested in seeing Muppets Most Wanted, I seriously suggest you to go on YouTube, look up Muppets Most Wanted interviews, because they are so freaking hilarious. Like, there are some interviews, and a lot of the interviews are with Ricky Gervais and Constantine, the evil frog character, and they are both so freaking hilarious together. I love how they all just treat the Muppets like they're really there and stuff like that. And there are other interviews with like Kermit and Miss Piggy in them, and some with like Tina Fey. And really, those interviews, I've watched pretty much all of them, and I love them. They're so funny. They say some things you wouldn't necessarily expect Muppets to say, especially Ricky Gervais there. He kind of pushes them to this whole other level that is just really funny, and I'm really kind of enjoying this like new era of Muppets. It's just a whole lot of fun. The last movie I want to talk about in this is a movie called Transcendence, which was directed by Wally Pfister, this is his first directing debut. He's been the cinematographer for all of Christopher Nolan's movies, from Memento to the Dark Knight movies to Inception, and I love his cinematography, and I was super excited to see this movie because of that. And I was super excited to see it because it stars Johnny Depp and has Morgan Freeman in it, and the cast as a whole just is really good. I was really excited to see it, and I saw it a couple days ago with one of my friends, and it was a bit disappointing. Overall, it was really entertaining to watch, really fun, but there's just something about it that seems really off. The acting is really off. Like, even Johnny Depp's acting is really off. None of it just seems to work much at all, and I think that could have a lot to do with the writing. They didn't really have a lot to work with the writing, and honestly, the writing was kind of bad. It was kind of cheesy sometimes, and like I said, just overall really disappointing. And like kind of left this great cast with nothing to work with. And I mean, they did the best that they could with it, but overall it all just really fell flat. It's basically about Johnny Depp's character. He is this like scientist that is working on creating a super smart computers that can transcend human intelligence and all intelligence as we know it, like fully and completely. But then there's this anti-technology terrorist group that kind of sabotages tons of these people that are studying things like this, and Johnny Depp is one of them. Johnny Depp gets shot and is like about to die when his wife, played by Rebecca Hall, who is also a scientist, kind of goes through the process of putting Johnny Depp's consciousness into this computer that Johnny Depp's character was working on, and kind of combining him with the computer so that he can remain alive. And once they do this, it kind of like goes all crazy. Johnny Depp's like computer intelligence is growing faster than anyone could have thought possible, and is just doing things that I have never seen possible before. And it just goes through all of these things that are like really like scientific but don't seem realistic at all. Like, none of it seems very realistic, and I think it wants to try to seem realistic. I think it tries to explain to you some things, but it doesn't explain them very well, or its explanations just aren't realistic either. I mean, if you really put aside all of your problems with wanting things to make sense, you can enjoy it a lot more, because all of the weird sciencey stuff that happens just doesn't feel right, and it just goes into all that stuff so much that it's just really off-putting, and you just kind of roll your eyes sometimes at some of the things that you see. At some points you'll just see these like computer screens with these random like graphics blinking and moving all over the place with like brainwaves and just random crap going on the screens for no apparent reason, and none of it really makes any sense, and I don't think it really could make any sense. Even if like you're really smart and know what it's talking about, you would probably dislike it even more, I think, because none of it just seems real or possible. Not that things have to seem real or possible. Like I'm just, the way it was written, it didn't work. It's really hard to like displace your criticalness of what is happening because it is such a huge part of the story itself. And overall, like I said, it was just a bit disappointing as a movie. The images were pretty beautiful most of the time. The set design and art direction and everything was phenomenal, but overall just didn't really work very well. I'm really hoping that Christopher Nolan's new movie Interstellar is going to be a lot better than this was. I have a feeling that it's going to be. Hopefully Wally Pfister can move on from this and do something better with directing in the future, if that's the direction that he wants to go in. He really just needs to find a script that doesn't suck like this one did. And anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about. Some movies that I'm going to be probably doing full reviews for, or I might end up just doing a wrap up at the end of whatever month I see them in. They're coming out soon are like The Amazing Spider-Man 2, actually, that just came out and I need to go see that. X-Men Days of Future Past, I can't freaking wait to see that movie. I love the X-Men movies. They're some of my favorite movies ever. I loved X-Men First Class. I loved it so much, and this movie looks freaking amazing. 2 Magnetos and 2 Professor Xaviers, and all 4 of them are awesome. It makes me so excited. Maddie? Did you knock on my door?
What?
Did you knock on my door?
Yes, it's dinner time.
Okay, I'll be right there.
Okay.
My niece was just knocking on the door and then started singing "Do You Want to Build a Snowman" to me. Well, she ran away and started singing it. Anyway, apparently it's dinner time. I guess that means I'm going. Really quickly, some of the movies I want to see, I honestly don't know when they're coming out because normally I would look them up, but I don't have any time right now. Guardians of the Galaxy, I honestly have no idea when this is coming out, so this might be coming out way later. A Fault in Our Stars, I think that comes out in June. I'm really excited to see that. So far, the trailers look like they're really true to the book. There's this movie, Locke, with Tom Hardy in it that I really want to go see. I'm not sure who it's directed by or who it's written by, but it takes place entirely in a car. And cinematography-wise, I honestly have no idea how they accomplished that. It looks really freaking amazing. If you have not heard of it, you should really go look it up. Look up the trailer. It looks really interesting. Tom Hardy looks great in it. It's called Locke, L-O-C-K-E. Looks really good. Can't wait to see that. Pretty sure it's out already in some theaters. I have no idea if it has like a release date for a lot of other theaters. There's this movie called Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal, where Jake Gyllenhaal plays 2 people in it. I think it's like an indie movie, and I have not seen it in any theaters. I'm hoping that I can watch it at some point, like online, or if it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. Really want to watch it. I think it looks pretty freaking awesome. If you haven't heard of that yet, you should go watch the trailer for that, because it looks pretty cool. Anyway, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Let me know what movies you've seen this month, and what you thought of the movies that I talked about. And yeah, see you guys later.